Alright, Tucker, here we go. It was not worth a head tilt, buddy. I'm staying right here. So stinking cute. You guys have a dog and ever realize just like how distracting they are? Like sometimes they just look at you and it's like, oh, I can't stand it. Anyway, hey everyone, thanks again for joining me. My name's Matt. Now, if you've been following along in the series, I'm sure you know by now that this is about my journey from going from my time into finance, from, working in finance, working in personal finance, to becoming a real estate agent or working in real estate. The last video I had was talking about the class that I took and the class that I passed to be able to actually take the real license. And now I have more exciting news. I was actually able to pass the official test, so what gives me the ability to now practice real estate legally. That was really exciting, and admittedly it was a very hard test, but I was very fortunate to be able to pass both tests I had to take on my first try. Reason why that was important to me, because again, if you've been following along with these videos, you know that I haven't really been working, well I haven't been working at all since I left my job back in September, really just focusing on making sure I can get myself into real estate as quickly as possible. It's expensive, to say the least. It's one of those, the class was like over $500, taking the test was like $162. If I failed the class, I'd have to pay that again. If I failed the test, I'd have to pay that again. So, ultimately my goal, or what kind of drove me to make sure I passed that on the first try, was A, I didn't have the time to really be retaking classes or retaking tests. I needed this all to happen quickly, as well as B, the money. Because with not working, still having student loans, car payments, rent, insurance, you name it, I just wanted to make sure I got myself back into the working world as quick as possible, and also want to make sure that I didn't become too lazy along the way. So all that's really exciting, but probably the more exciting part is that I actually already have a job. So little brief backstory here is, long time ago, before I even quit my job or even put in my 2 weeks, I was looking around different jobs that North Carolina, or specifically Charlotte, has when it comes to working in real estate, because ultimately I felt like I didn't want to become a realtor for, something I could have done when I was 18, didn't need to go into student debt, get a degree in finance licenses, and so I was really looking for the other options that were out there. So what I did is I just did a quick Google search for, best real estate investment firms in Charlotte, North Carolina. And the first one that came up, went ahead and clicked on it, and they had a video on their page that says, interested in joining our team, talked about the company, but if you have any interest in joining us, reach out to one of our agents and, talk to them about what it took to work with us. So went down the list of real estate agents that they had there, just kind of did an eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Picked one at random, and actually didn't send them a message. I clicked on their profile, which I guess sent him some kind of message, and the next day I got an email back saying, hey Matt, see that you're interested in one of these properties, which is like a $10 million property. That's not what I was looking to buy. Would love to know if we can connect sometime so I could talk to you more about it. And to which I simply just responded back, hey, thanks for getting back to me. Truthfully, I'm not in the market to purchase a house right now, but I'm actually interested in working for your firm, and would love to hear more about this opportunity. So we met at Panera one Sunday morning. He is a real estate agent, but just also works with investing, and has been in the business for a while. And he told me all about it. He told me about his experiences with this company, why he chose this company, how real estate's been for him and what he did beforehand. And truthfully, that's probably what gave me the motivation to say, I think being a real estate agent might actually be the better way for me to start off. This way I know the transactions fully, I know the ins and outs of the business. There's a lot of legal stuff that's involved when it comes to real estate. So making sure that, I don't get sued or arrested, but also making sure that I can help clients by being knowledgeable about the industry. So, essentially right after that conversation I had with him, I worked out my timeline for when I was going to quit my job, put in my 2 weeks, make sure that I had it all kind of lined up, ready to go, and put the whole process in motion right after that conversation. So we kind of stopped communicating after that time, here and there we'd touch points, how's it going, what are you up to these days, little things like that along the way. And Yeah, so basically what happened is I went through the class, passed the class, passed the test, everything along those lines, and I reached out to him and said, hey, I just finished with everything, would love to maybe see if we could sit down and chat again about your businesses or what opportunities you might have. And right after I texted him that, he immediately called me, like very excited, ready to go, and was very willing to take me under his wing because he saw my motivation that I had to initially reach out to him. He knows that I'll do my own research to make sure that I'm getting into the right spot, but also too that I'm comfortable just reaching out to somebody point blank, or that I'm, not afraid to communicate with somebody that I've never met before, never spoken to, and ask them directly for their advice. Now, I do want to mention that I did talk with a few other real estate firms. I've talked with a few wholesaling firms, and I did decide, this was a very strategic decision, I guess you could say, for me, because I'll say with the wholesaling firms, they wanted me to get like my license in 2 weeks, which was a red flag to me because North Carolina minimum is going to be a month. Usually it's going to be about 2 months to get your license at least. And that just showed me that they didn't research their market. They don't really care about their employees. They might, but to me that doesn't really reflect it if you don't even know how long it takes to get a license and you require it. So threw the wholesaling ones out the window. That's something I can also do on my own, and I also know that there's a few kind of local, more mom and pop shops in Charlotte that offer that, which would probably be better fit than, again, another big name corporation. I also talked to a few other real estate firms just to see what was out there and do my own due diligence, make sure there wasn't maybe a better opportunity or something that was a better fit for me out there. And ultimately still stuck with the guy that I originally met with, because the other firms were talking about what they've done in the past. So they would say, we've had this great training program for the past 13 years, and it works great. Every year we meet together and people have great success, and it was just, which is great, and it's very informative or good to know that they care about their employees to that extent where they're going to, have these training programs, offer these services to make sure that you start off on the right foot. But times change, and none of them mentioned anything about where they're headed towards in the future, which the guy I met with did talk about that in the future. He said, we're a smaller company here, but I have this goal here. It'll just be you and a few other people. I think in the next few years we should be easily selling like $10 million between all of us. And that was very encouraging for me to hear, not only because it was talking about the future, so he has a path set in place, or has an idea as to where he'd like to go in this direction, which you might already know that's part of the reason why I left finance, is they didn't have that sense of direction. And also too, I just left a big corporation, so it wasn't really something I was interested in, working for somebody like, and no knock against them, but like a Keller Williams or an Allen Tate, because they're everywhere. And I just wanted to be something different than working for a big corporation. Again, not a knock against them, I'm sure they're both great companies, and you can go out down the list, Berkshire Hathaway, a few others, but ultimately I wanted to be in a tight-knit area. I'm not really looking to travel. I mean, if I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, why would I really be wanting to go to, Illinois to then get licensed and sell real estate? That just, at this time, doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me. And probably the final reason why I did decide to stick with the firm that I, initially met with is because they also do investments. So they're not just a residential, agent. They also do work with investments, so whether it be like commercial or things along those lines. So, it's pretty exciting to find a place that's giving me, the footing, or giving me the ability to start off on the right foot, I guess you can say. But, and just somebody that I've already connected with. Of course, a few people that reached out to me once I passed the test were other people that I knew, but I like having more of a business relationship with the people that I work with and more of a personal relationship with my friends, and I don't typically like to mix those two together. Not saying that I wouldn't, but, just for starting off with reasons, I kind of like somebody that can not be afraid to just tell it to me blunt, where my friends might kind of beat around the bush because they don't want to influence our relationship negatively. Sorry, as always, I got my handy dandy notes here. But yeah, so, I'll be starting that around January 5th. So, really excited about that, and what I'll do is follow up this video with just kind of my timeline really doing a whole 2019 in review video for you to kind of talk about how long did it take me to go from, point A to point B, which is, start of the year, to quitting my job, to point C, which is getting into real estate school, to point D, which is getting a new job itself. Maybe some tips or pointers for things that I didn't or did take into consideration that would have been helpful for somebody else getting into the industry. But also, again, just giving my timeline from the time that I quit my job to getting a new job in real estate, so that this way, if any of you are interested in becoming an agent in North Carolina, you can just see what I've done. I guess, really, I feel like I just flew through that. I was talking really fast that whole time, and a lot of ahs and ums. I apologize about that. And if my eye looks weird, I was just cutting some peppers before I started this and made the stupid mistake of rubbing my eye, so it burns a little bit, which might also be why I'm talking so fast, because I really just kind of want to get this over with here. But yeah, so, for the time being, I guess I'll just leave it at, so got the job, starting at the beginning of the year, passed both of the tests. The tests, I would say, are not as hard as everybody says they are, as long as you know how to study the material and apply the material. But for the time being, I guess I'll also just say, thank you as always for your time. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to these videos, and always hope that I provide some guidance for somebody out there. If there's just one person that I can influence, that's me. So I'm glad I went back and watched that video, because it turns out that it did not actually finish or record my ending there. So I was just saying that really the goal of these videos that I have, or really what would make me feel accomplished with these videos, is even if I can get just one person to make the life change that they've been after, give them the guidance and some direction as to how to get involved into real estate. A lot of people out there really do not like the jobs that they're in, want to make the change, but are afraid of making that change because it is a little bit of a leap of faith sometimes. So, if I can influence just one person out there to make a life-changing decision for the better, then, then that's where I'll feel satisfied. Again, as always, thank you for watching the video. In case my year in review video comes out late, Merry Christmas to everybody, Happy late Thanksgiving, Happy Hanukkah to anybody out there, and sorry if I missed any holidays, but hopefully again I'll see you soon. Thanks.